one of the projects that I think is one of the most slept on albums ever that I know you did a lot of work on is The Foundation by Brand Nubian. And
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite albums of '98. So before we get into the songs that you actually did, um, the thing I thought was interesting about you working with them at that point in your career is that, you know, you were there learning and growing with digging in the crates and all that. And Brand Nubian, obviously, with Diamond D, had the affiliation there. But
Right.
by the time you got to Brand Nubian, they had been out for a long time. The reunion, all these different things that were going on that impacted the making of that album. So was it very different for you to get in as a producer with the established group that's going through a union compared to working in the same circle with the same dudes you've been came in the game with?
Nah, it wasn't hard at all, you
Okay.
know? I mean, Pooba is like my brother. Pooba is like, we hang out, we talk and chop it up all the time. So when you have a relationship with artists, there's no real pressure, as if, I had to work with you and I really don't know you like that. And I don't know your way of thinking and what you want, then the pressure is there. I'm with Pooba all the time. I know Pooba inside out, upside down, especially when it comes to music. So it's just doing something and telling him, yo, what you think of this? Yo, check this out. And kind of giving him a vibe of why I'm submitting this and what I see by submitting it.
Okay. And then that was one of, in my opinion, the first kind of wave of a reunion album that actually was arguably as good as some of the music in their prime. So, given that they did have whatever feelings toward each other at different times, how do you think they as a group and you as a producer were able to help them get past all that to make such a high quality album?
Well, for me, it's not really getting them to come to terms. They got to come to terms before I'm even aboard, because in order for them to even get a situation, they have to come to terms and they got to situate everything and square everything off. So, once they got the situation and they let bygones or whatever be bygones, then it was just like, yo, we working on this project. Yo, Ness, I know you got some heat. And then we wound up working. I mean, one of my favorite records, I think, is a slept on record, is Love vs. Hate. Love the energy of that record was incredible. It was when I found that, I was, ooh, this is it right here,
And was that one of those where they're the only ones you ever played it for and it was done? They wanted it immediately?
Yeah, yeah. That was one of those that it was done just for them.
Okay. And then as you've seen, up to that point, I think they were, they never had a gold record or got super, super big or whatever. But I always thought the three of them in particular had very different but very insightful ways of commenting on what was going on in the rap world and society and in our country. So with the foundation, like overall, and even with like You For Me and Straight Out Now Rule, like what made it like special for you that those made it on the album?
Oh man, because I was sitting with them. So a lot of the records that I was doing, they were there to watch me. I mean, a record I made right there in front of them, it didn't make the album, but if you Google it, you could probably find it. It was called Scientists of Sound. That record was dope, man. And I thought it was gonna make the project. It didn't, but I made that for them right in front of them. I mean, it's the same thing with Channel 10. When I did Channel 10 for Capone-N-Noreaga, they'll tell you I made the beat in front of them. So I'm like that. If I feel I got some ideas and you got the rhymes and you got whatever and we need to knock it out, man, I might fly a musician or two in. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna definitely get it right. I'm gonna find the right music for you.
Okay. And then how does all this compare with the message?
Well, the message was my song, and it was already configured. The chorus, everything about that song was configured already. I mean, that was a record that was like add water and mix, because Dre added the strings, but everything else was there.
Gotcha.
Even the hook. Even the hook.
Yeah. It's interesting because one of the things that ties nicely into the Motown state of mind is that as I was looking at all the things, knowing I was going to be talking to you, all the different sounds, the different eras, the different types of artists, and the versatility you have is something that I've always been very impressed with, especially as your career continues going strong. So, I think that's a great thing. And I also think as you've progressed, how have you found that you're able to find similar and different ways to push yourself over the years?
Because, and I tell a story a lot. One of my mentors was talking to somebody else, right? And he asked the dude, like, why haven't you did any new projects? Why won't you do some new music? He's telling this artist, Artist was like, people ain't checking for me, had bad scenarios, they calling me the old head, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, wow. He said, what did music ever do wrong to you? And he was like, what you mean? He said, well, what did music ever do wrong to you? He said, because I hear everything you're saying, but why are you taking all that out on the music? And that kind of struck a chord, because it was just like, it was times where I was in that position. And, music ain't never do nothing wrong to me. So you could go through things, but you shouldn't take it out on the music. And I had kind of rediscovered love for the music again, and wanted to make it and kind of wanted to make it fun again.
Gotcha. So then now, with the success of Motown State of Mind, what do you got coming up?
I got a project called Next Level Nostalgia. And with Next Level Nostalgia, it's a redo of kind of The Awakening, knowing that I don't have a provision that would stop me from re-recording songs and making me the complete owner of that master. So I done started re-recording. I already recorded like 4 or 5 songs, and I'm gonna add new songs and new interludes and new music. And I'm working with Knots, I'm working with Jake One, I'm working with Tall Black Guy. And that music is called Next Level Nostalgia. It's because I'm going back to using 1200 and a 950. Even though you got all this technology out, I want to go back to these analog machines and create, the magic.
Man, well, that's incredible, Lord Finesse. I appreciate you coming through here to Unique Access, and looking forward to sitting down with you again, man. Appreciate it.
Ah, man, thanks for having me.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangsta Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangsta Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangsta Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangsta rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Your MTV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangsta Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangsta Rap in stores now.